Hello friends, looks like we might be live. Happy Sunday, glorious day here in Scotland, roasting hot, and I've drunk too much coffee, so how could this possibly go wrong? And today we're going to do the final, hopefully final part, yeah we should get them finished today, the final part of our Sleepy Faun from the Maker's box kit. Terrible sentence structure there. And as we said in the last video, but I just want to reiterate, I'd mentioned I was going to try and make him half the size, and I clearly forgot about maths. So I halved the amount of raw materials that go into it, but to make, if you actually want to follow along to one of these tutorials and make it half the size, you need to quarter the amount of raw materials you put in. The Maker's Girls reminded me of basic maths that I forgot, because in 3D we've got 3 dimensions. You go wider and bigger, and I wasn't thinking properly. So this is going to be about a 3/4 size, maybe a little bit smaller, because I'm making him smaller. Too many becauses. Because I'm making him smaller, I'm able to felt him a little more densely, hopefully, so he'll be a little bit more felted is the term. Fingers crossed. But I'm just going to dive into the chat and then we will get on with the felting. In fact, let's get on with the felting him and I'll dive into the chat. Let's do both of those things, because I just want to work on him a little bit, and then our next stage, let's actually do what I said I was going to do. There we go. Our next stage that we're going to be moving on to any minute now, once I've caught up with saying hello to everybody, is going to be making the ears, and then we're going to colour the whole of him, yeah, and do all the fine details, and that'll be him done. And make it sound like it's going to be super easy. So hopefully if you're felting along, if you've got to this point, and yeah, I've seen some awesome fawns over the couple of weeks. Oh, and I meant to say my latest Maker's subscription box. The link to the subscription boxes should be in the description of this video. Not sponsored or affiliated. I just really love the Maker's work, and they have been really awesome at supporting me and this channel as well. So I get their monthly subscription box that we felt, and my next one's in, and I believe that one's going to be a 2D felted butterfly, which is going to be so gorgeous and perfect for summer. But let's get the deer finished first, shall we? Faith Mother Goddess is in the house. Good afternoon. Hi there. Pamela from Silverton, Oregon, chiming in. Hey there. I'm guessing it's morning for you. Lisa, afternoon, Pamela. Hi there. Faith Mother Goddess has already made hers. She's oh, got hair stuck to my lipstick. That's great. Never thought of making it smaller. That's just me all the time. Whenever the first ever sort of tutorials I saw on needle felting, well, I bought a book to start with when I was a very beginner, and after that I just winged it all by myself. And then Serafina, I watched her videos, and they're huge long videos in multiple parts, and they're really inspiring, so I would jump in and felt along with her. But I would always, hers were too big for me to felt in time, so I would always half the size of them, and that worked because hers are more, hers are measurements rather than half the amount of wool you've got. So I could take a bit of wire half the size she said, and I managed to make them half. But I was an idiot doing this one. I said, let's make it half the size, so let's just half the amount of wool. That's not how maths works. So he's going to be a little bit less than 3/4 size. He has got quite the bum still, hasn't he? Anyway, we'll fix that out. Right. So our next section, we've got to make his ears. Now they do look like they're pretty big in the pictures. No, I can't really show this, but this is what he's supposed to look like in the end, and his ears are pretty big. So as I don't have direct measurements, and I've been taking the bits and leaving them aside as they tell me to in the directions, but then over the week I've kind of lost where I left everything, so we'll go with this as a kind of reasonable size when it felts. Yeah, that'll do, won't it? stab the outline of the ear, I think they have indeed. Oh, I can't show everything on screen, but they do have a template there. So my ear, I want to be about 3/4 of the size of that. So, right, my measurements, I'm measuring up against the ear on the thing. Yeah, so I'm about right. Cool. So I'm just going to make a kind of ear shape. Lost where I was in the descriptions. Yeah, so it's about the size I thought it should be. Literally just felting around a kind of shape of an ear. There we go, good start. Stab the outline, fold the wispy ends inwards. Cool. So yeah, you just felt out the shape and then that tacks it down to the mat so you can kind of fold the bits over and get a sort of shape. I will refine it a bit and leave the ends unfelted. And if needed, add a little more bulk to the inside, because obviously you've taken stuff from the outside in, so the inside might be a little bit skinny, but mine's okay just now. Lily Tree's in the house. Hello there, Lily Tree. Good to see you. Oh, don't need my scissors. I've been all organised and I don't need them just now. Sadly, talking of organised, I was going to say I couldn't find my eco felting mats from the makers. I think I know where they are, and I think it is they've dropped down the back of the computer and I'll have to dismantle everything to find them. So I'm using one of these horrible old-fashioned foam pads, but the makers do make lovely eco felting mats made out of wool for you to use for your felting, and they are nice and they don't make that noise that really, yeah, I don't like it a whole lot. ASMR. It's not like felting noise. Nice. Felting pad noise. Not so nice. Canvas and Quirma's in the house. Good morning, oh. Hello there. Right, so how's everybody's week been? I was going to say it's been a week since I've seen you, but it's not, because I randomly had a couple of lives during the week because I felt like it. Not sure how many of them I'll do. I'm thinking this week, let me know, because I've had quite a lot of people are asking for sort of real beginner stuff, and I was thinking, right, you guys let me know, for those of you that sell on Etsy, what kind of video would you prefer? I'm thinking either, the options are either making a big, super in-depth, everything all about Etsy, that would be a massive video, perhaps with chapters that you'd be able to find everything, but still would be like a massive, super long video, talking about keywords, how to write a title, you know, everything I can think of, sort of like the ultimate beginner's guide. Or would you prefer every one of the videos individual? So if you were thinking, how do I make a title, you would look and there would be like a 2-minute video going into that, and how do I do this thing? So it would be like a series of videos, and you could pick the bits that you didn't know. Let me know what you think, which type of video you would prefer, which would be more helpful if you were just starting out on Etsy and wanted to know about these things. I'm just adding a bit more fibre here to make this ear feel a bit more substantial. Kathleen's here. Good morning from Texas. Hello there. Good to see you. I mean, awesome for all you guys getting up super early in the morning in America. This is 4 PM UK time, so I'm just winding down. Okay. The maker's advice here, they'll tell me off if I don't do this as well. If you're felting a flat thing on a mat, you have to keep lifting it up, because every time you stab, you take a little bit of fibres through into your mat. That needs a bit more bulking up. You take a little bit of fibres through into your mat. So if you keep lifting it up and moving it, then you'll felt the object, but you won't felt the mat so much. So remember and keep moving it. I forget this the most when I'm doing 2D painting, which we're doing next time. When I'm doing 2D painting and I say I get really into a bit like eyes. Oh, there's another video I'm thinking of making of how to felt flat eyes. I just want to something I've thought about for ages. When I started doing the 2D sketches and things, it's a simple things that a lot of people sort of don't necessarily do right, is just how to work on the light and reflections and everything to really simply make eyes look kind of good. So that's something I've got in the works that I'm planning to do. But anyway, yeah, what I was saying is, when I'm working on eyes and I'm getting all excited and I'm really felting into them, and I totally forget to do that, and then your piece is like embedded into your felting mat, and I really have to. So I have once had to sort of peel it up and just sort of cut it free because I just got too carried away, basically. You guys are so going to contradict each other, I can see this. Canvas and Chroma tend to prefer one long video and have everything in one place, but Diana wants separate videos. I knew this. Faith Mother Goddess, how do you work out what to charge for something you've made, and if it doesn't sell, do you price? I have to say I know nothing about selling yet. That is such a good thing. I'll give you my thoughts just now. I will make a mental note to do an in-depth video on this because I really love this as a subject. But basically, it's tricky, especially with something like needle felting, because it's raw materials cheap and time dear. So, right, hang on. I'll get on to the next stage and I'll carry on with this chat. So I turn it over and I'm adding some of the brown onto the top. So we're covering the back of the ear in brown, which is cool. I can do that and talk to you. Right, so basically pricing is really difficult as an artist. There's a gazillion different ways to do it. The very first thing to think about is, what are you wanting? Are you wanting a full-time job selling your needle felted art? Is that where you're heading, or are you just wanting a little bit of extra money for raw materials and stuff for any art, not just your needle felting? You know, what's your need? What's your reason for doing this? Now, most of us probably want to make a sensible amount of money, even if you're not expecting to be a millionaire, you're not expecting to have a yacht, but you would like to make a bit of a living out of it, even if it's a part-time living. So that's something to think about. But generally, I've found, unless you're awesome, right? This is the real talk. We have to be honest about our skill level. There are some needle felting artists whose work is lifelike, stunning, amazing. So we have to look at them and say, okay, they're able to command that kind of price. They were able to from the get-go. It's because they're amazing. We can't charge that price. Speaking for me, I can't charge that price. I'm not that good. I'm good. I'm better than I used to be. I'm not that good. So there's the kind of pricing scale based on your ability, and that is kind of what the market can bear as well. If you look at all the other needle felting artists, or if you're not a needle felter, in whatever other niche you're in, painting, whatever else, look at all the other artists and look at the price range. Look at what's the cheapest and look at what's the dearest. And we don't have to go in and we don't have to be the cheapest, and we're unlikely to be the dearest, but look at the range. And then figure out how long it takes you to make something, and figure out if you're not necessarily going to start there, but if you get to a decent skill level, what kind of time would it take to make an item? Because we know, I mean, a rushed deer by me is going to take 2.5-3 hours on camera probably. In the real world, something this size at rushed, not my best work ever, probably take about 5 hours. So yeah, think about what that kind of price would be. And then obviously you think about the fact you're new, you've not started selling yet, you don't have an avid supply of repeat customers, but at the same time you don't want to give away your time for nothing. So what I did, and I was very, well, I was lucky. I said a price that I thought sounded about right. It was on the low end, but it was right for me. And yeah, don't be pressured by other people. I've had people message me and go, "You're undervaluing all our work by your price." But I was just starting out, and that was the price that worked for me. And then what happened that really got me able to think about this even better was when I got into the gallery, when I'd just fixed on my prices what I thought was good. I got into the gallery and they asked me if I could create for them 35 pieces in 2 weeks. Not even kidding. So 35 little dogs, and we're talking this size of me dogs. That's the big thing. Talking sort of this size, about your palm, maybe a wee bit bigger. So they wanted 35 of the little dogs, and obviously they wanted to pay wholesale. They want their customers to pay roughly about what your Etsy shop price is. I know, I thought, no, if that happens, I would charge them the same price and they would charge their customers more, but no, that's not how it worked. They wanted wholesale price. They were paying me 60% of what my price was. So, fair enough. So basically what I had to think about was I looked at the hours it took me to make those little dogs. The rush of the 2 weeks to make 35 little dogs, the amount of time it took me, and I figured out how much I made over that time, and I said to myself, am I happy with this as a job? Am I happy with this when I am sitting doing absolutely nothing but making these little critters for 2 weeks and it really was nothing? Have I made enough money to make that worthwhile and sustainable? And the answer for me was just yes. Just at that point, it was just about right. So that meant when it wasn't wholesale, when I'm selling in my shop, there's a little bit of margin for all the time it takes me to advertise things and deal with customers and all that difficult stuff. So it was just right, and that's what you've got to say. If someone came to you tomorrow and asked for 20 of your items, how much would it be worth for you to give up all that time with your friends and your family to make those things? and that's, think on bulk. So that was, yes, it just worked. So that was my price, and that was about in 2014. And basically since then, what I've done, I think, was it 2015 or 2016, the Christmas period was super busy. I was rushed off my feet, so I thought, now's the time. I'm putting them prices up. And that's what I did. I put the prices up a wee bit, and that slightly slowed the number of sales, but increased how much money I made overall. So, that next year, sales were slightly down, money was slightly up. So it was like perfect. And then again, tail end of 2018, I was busy again at Christmas. So after Christmas, I raised my prices, and I made a big announcement of these when I'm doing it. It's like, last chance to buy at these prices. My prices are going up. So every time I got busy, raised my prices just a little bit, and so now I am at about double what I had. I'm at about double where I was when I decided I was at a good wage, and it's right, really, because needle felting, we can't be a factory production line, but at the same time, I'm not that good that I can be I'll just make one of these a week and live off it while I sit down the river, watching the world go by. So I hope that kind of makes sense. Right. Anyway, I totally went off. I've lost all the chat. Let's get back into the chat. Right, I'll see what the next stage of this is, then I'll do the rest of the chat. Cover the whole back of the wool. Oh, and then turn it over. And we're going to start shaping the ear. That's cool. Okay. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit, Faith Mother. Well, Faith, let's call you Faith, sorry. And yes, you are needle felting, so that's it. Canvas, the way YouTube works, sometimes it's easier than trying to find a bunch of separate videos. YouTube tends to scatter all over the place. Yeah, I get that as well. What they would be in a playlist connected to each other, so you would be able to find different things that way. Maybe I'm best making individual videos and a big one, because the big one I could maybe go sort of even more in depth and have different. There's a thing. Okay, so I gave you an option of 2 things, and you guys said yes, you want those 2 things. Lisa, like separate interactive topics, so we can all chat about that one thing and bounce ideas. Oh, so are you right? So there's a 3rd option. Yeah, I could make the short videos live streams where we all talk about them. I could do 3. I could make live streams talking about the subject. We can all bounce the ideas off each other, and then once we've done that, I can make an actual not rambling, daft, but a sensible, to the point video, and then we could group it all together into one big video. That sounds algorithmically fantastic, but also hopefully helpful. So we can all get all of our ideas in. I can help you individually. We could maybe even in the live dive into some of your shops and sort of help you individually, and then go back and pull out of that the actual useful points. That's interesting. Faith, you like a group of stages in videos, so you feel like you're achieving something. Oh yeah, I get that as well. Yeah, you guys have got me thinking. Awesome. That's an interesting thing to experiment. Artisan Craft, hello there. How are you today? I am awesome. Sweltering. The sun's come back again, which I am loving. Just been out with the dog before this, and I posted on my Facebook page, but I know not all of you will be able to see it, but there's a little tiny park outside my house, and usually every summer the grass in that park is cut every 2 weeks. It's kept manicured super short, and this year it's not been cut at all, and it's lovely. I know it's pretty terrible for my hay fever, and some people don't like it because it's mucky, but seeing all the wild flowers that are coming up in it, there's giant daisies that are like 2 foot tall just now. There's tons of forget-me-nots. There's a little blue carpet in one corner and everything. It's so cool seeing all the different flowers come up. So it would be cool if the council would leave just a little bit. Oh, Pamela, yeah, Faith Mother Goddess, I was given some good advice on pricing. Ask yourself what you'd be willing to pay for the item if you found it in the store. Yeah, there's that as well. Also, I think the problem a lot of us crafters have is most of us probably wouldn't pay the prices that people need to ask because we can make it. but yes, in general. Maria, hola! Hello, Pam from Spain. Canvas and chrome. Your dice bags take an hour to make each, including prep time. I use about $10 of materials and the fabric, and I charge $25 to $40 depending on the type of fabric. Yeah, well that sounds fair. So you're getting I don't quite work in dollars, but you're getting an okay hourly rate, and it's still, that sounds like a reasonable price. I don't buy dice bags, but you're getting a handmade one. Sounds great. Steffi's in the house. Had to finish hanging the washing out. I absolutely should have put a washing on today. It's glorious. It would have got dried so quickly. And Pamela saying canvas and chroma's bags are beautifully made. Exactly, and that's with your prices as well. I've spoke about this with knitting, but it is the same with a lot of things. The difference between, like, my mum is a knitting shop, so if you do generic, what everybody else can make, acrylic yarn, well, acrylic wool as we call it in the UK, acrylic wool, little fingerless gloves, you can only charge what everybody else is charging, and you're up against machine knitters, you're up against sweatshop workers. Get this ear shaped a little bit, I'm not paying attention. However, if you designed or got extra special patterns that were something really different, and or got right in there and got some really special fibres. I've spoke about this so many times, but with my mum, things like the alpaca, other animals that I can't think of. Well, the alpaca, we went to the farm overlooking a reservoir, we met the alpaca, we saw what their life was like. You know, they were basically big cute pets that needed to get trimmed every year, pretty much. So to be able to put that into the story, to show the pictures of, you know, this is the actual alpaca that this materials come from, that was awesome. Again, there's wonderful place, have to go to it again. Great idea. There's a little town in Scotland that's called the Craft Town, and the high street is full of, most of the shops are handmade craft shops, and it's fantastic. And so one of the places we went into was a woman who's hand dyeing wool, so Mum got some of the wool from her to make things. So again, the story, we met the woman, we walked into her workshop, we saw how she hand dyes the wool, so that, you know, that gives a bit of a premium. You can charge more for your items, so you get more for your time. And the other one spoke about so much. My sister lives in New Zealand. My mum went to New Zealand. When she was there, they visited a wool place, and the fabrics from this, this is the people that supplied all the fabrics for the Lord of the Rings. So the grey fingerless gloves I've got from there is the same wool that Gandalf's cloak was in. So that's pretty nerdy. The makers, hi everybody, so many familiar names. I know, it's lovely. We're getting a nice little community of people who are happy to sit and listen to us all waffle on while we felt. Lily Tree, content plan sorted. Much content plan sorted. We'll have to see how that goes. Canvas and Chroma, just starting out on all my bags were $25. Now my older bags are $25 and my new bags start at $30, so that I have sales reviews and people are more willing to pay higher prices. Absolutely. I think you don't want to go too low, but because you just look cheap and nasty. And also, if you go so much lower when you're starting out thinking that's going to give you sales, you're not going to get return customers, because the people that come are coming because you're bargain basement, and when you put your prices up, they'll leave you. So don't be afraid. And the other thing, it's hard, I know it's hard, but people value things a lot based on what they pay for it. So if your items are only like $5 each, I've done that. I went to a craft fair with my little dogs and I priced them up at £5 each, and people treated them like they were a jumbo sale. They were picking them up and just dropping them and going, I don't know, £5 for that. But if I'd have taken the same things and put them on a beautiful display stand and covered them and charged £50 for them, people would have been nicer about them. People would have been gentler on them, not because they were any different or any better quality, but they would have been perceived as having better quality. So yeah, I hope that kind of makes sense. People don't always buy the cheapest. If they're looking for a gift to give to somebody and they want to give them something nice, they might, with something like art, it's more than possible they will look at the high price, they'll look at the low price, and they'll go the high end of the middle price. They don't want the cheapest item, they don't necessarily want the dearest, but they want somewhere that's just a little bit more than average. So that's what they think of their friend, just a little bit more than average. Oh, Faith, your air felting is worrying me and your needle is so long too. It's only a few years ago I started using these needle holders, and they are so good. They stopped me getting the repetitive strain injury I used to get, because when I just have the regular needles, you're holding on to something that's this tight, this narrow, and it was when I was having a super busy time, I was getting a lot of pains in my wrist and my hands, whereas now with this it's a lot better. I know a lot of people don't like the felting in the air. I find it much safer. If I'm doing something like this and trying to shape it, the chance of me catching my fingers doing that, I would have to watch every second, and the chance of me stop putting your head in the frame, Pam, chance of me proper catching my fingers is high, whereas you know where your fingers are. I know where my fingers are when I hold them like this, so I can felt in between my fingers, move my fingers about, and for me it's safer. And the other thing is, I'm not holding this really tight, so if it does hit my fingers, I'm not stabbing. I'm just touching, and that's sorry, I'm freaking people out properly now, aren't I? But yeah, the needle might touch my fingers, but at the minute it's not stabbing my fingers. That's not to say I never stab my fingers. We all do. The makers, I saw the shot during the week. One of the girls got a good stab going on, got a good proper little stab, but we all do sometimes. Thankfully I've not bled on camera yet. It'll happen. Oh, Mum's in the huff. Will you stop saying how good the weather is? It's cold here. It was freezing yesterday, but it's turned a corner and it's nice again. So I'll send some of it up to you. Go up and see. Go up and see Mum. It was funny on Thursday. For those of you that don't know, I work with E-Rank, and we do a live stream in the E-Rank Facebook group most Thursdays. And the rest of the team are in America, and they were complaining and saying, it's thundering here, there's a big storm coming. And I was kind of looking out the window going, there is here. I wonder if that's just like the same big cloud right across the Atlantic. Just the Atlantic? Yeah. But probably not. But it was super weird that we were all having the same weather, like thousands of miles apart. Makers, just how you don't stab yourself making those ears. You don't even watch while you're stabbing. Yeah, that's many years of just sitting watching tally. I wouldn't have been able to do this as a proper craft, as a proper business. Because when I'm super busy and say I've got like 10-20 dogs to make in a week, I couldn't sit at a table for that level of time hunched over 100% focusing, whereas every evening I can put a movie on and felt for 3-4 hours if I don't have to pay attention to what I'm doing. So it actually makes it easier for me to be able to do this more often, for more time, because it doesn't feel like work. How I see it is, not everybody, most people have a bit of time in the evening where they watch the telly or something, and if you put aside that bit of time to do something and you're having to sit and proper focus on it, then that's work. If you're still watching the telly, then that's not work, that's just having fun. Oh. The makers, hi Faith, so nice to see you on the same side for a change. I know, it's cool when you can get in and chat to each other rather than you being in my position trying to catch the chat as it goes by. Pamela, marketing tips greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Proper display does indeed add perceived value. Absolutely. Yeah. It's crazy. It can be the same thing, but if you look, things like when you go into a jewellery place, or when you go into the Swarovski, that gem thing that I can't say. Mum, write it down. I bet your mum can't spell it. Swarovski, the crystal place. There's a one of them crystal places close to us, and when you look at the shop, everything is in beautiful display cases, the lighting's gorgeous and everything. It just makes it look so lovely. Now their stuff is lovely, but across the aisle, so the shopping mall, across the way, there's a cheaper jewellery place, and their stuff's just kind of out. It's on trays. It doesn't look like a big deal. And if they had spent the time to do the displays better, if they'd spent the time for that black velvet and that proper lighting and everything, their items wouldn't seem so cheap and people would pay more for them. It's just such a huge difference, and probably in some cases it's pretty much the same stone or something. Possibly. I don't know about jewellery. I'm making it up. Oh, Faith, love to felt while you're listening to a good book on Audible. Awesome! We should, us Needle Felters should get sponsored by Audible. That's great. And I've mentioned you, right, I've mentioned you 3 times now, Audible. Sponsor me. Lily Tree, I need to add danger money to your pricing. Absolutely. I mean, that in some cases that is things to think about. Some art forms take a lot longer to learn and there's more danger to them. Something like say like blacksmithing is quite a dangerous thing. Their machines and kit they need to have. I've not watched him for ages. I think it's Alex Steele, the blacksmith, has a YouTube channel. Oh, his stuff is amazing. His videos are amazing. Just seeing the fire and it's great. I wasn't going to say, but the camera does seem to focus on his backside quite a lot. But it is a nice backside. But anyway, but it's great. But you see all the kit that he's got as a blacksmith. So you can see prices for artisan blacksmith work. He's had to build up. You have to have a separate location for that. You have to have machinery. You have to have a fire. I'm assuming there's all kinds of insurance to have that, and also you've had years of training, so all that kind of goes into your thought of your prices as well. Thankfully, I mean, you know, if you're just starting out or you're new at needle felting, there's not that much. Buy a couple of boxes off the makers and you're good to go. You can get started, so we're a lot easier. Lisa, you like to multitask TV with your crafting, even with your show. Excellent, you have your circuit machine running. Brilliant. No, I love to hear that. This is like our crafting session. One day I'll figure out how to do a thing so we can all be on camera just talking to each other. That would be weird. Canvas sewing machines are really loud, so watching TV isn't really an option. Yeah, that's true. There's different things that you can do. I remember when Mum was proper doing machine knitted knitwear for craft fairs and things. It would be all day knitting on the machine and then the evening in front of the tally was sewing up. So I think that's, maybe figuring out, depending on your craft, but figuring out a kind of process of which is the things that you have to work at and which are the things that you can sit back, you know, like just the finishing things. Maybe I've not done sewing properly for ages. Oh yeah, it was Steffi punctured her thumb. Ouch. Oh, you're teaching me how to say this. Swarovski. Got it. Thank you. It must be right because you both said the same pronunciation at the same time. Oh, Steffi. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you let people know about your kits. That's what we're here for. I'm not wanting to appear like a pushy cow. You're not at all. The fawn is available as a pack. Awesome. With no tools for 25 quid. That's brilliant because, as we've seen, if you split this kit up to do half size, you would be able to make 4 fawns. So that's good value. And the large, you know, to buy a finished one would be way more than that. And they have a birthday sale, yes, because it's the maker's birthday. Was it 4 or 5 years? I can't remember, but it's the birthday. So discount code CAKE gives you 20% off. Awesome. Oh yeah, canvas and chroma. Watching the machine needle 2mm from my fingers at 2000 RPM makes you pay attention. Absolutely. I've seen the felting machines. You can get a 2D felting machine that's basically a sewing machine with a felting needle on it. But the handheld ones, yeah, if you're going to use a handheld one, I would be like this. I would be super far away from it. Canvas and chroma. How many hours a week do you spend making YouTube videos? I was thinking about making some videos once my laser cutter arrived. Awesome, but I don't know if I want to take the time. It depends. I can say like Etsy do some kind of a big announcement like the free shipping fiasco. I can probably, from the idea, doing a bit of research, scripting it, quickly filming it because my studio's set up, quickly filming it, editing it, making a thumbnail and publishing it. I can do that in about half a day. So to grow a channel, like one video a week could be enough. You'll grow faster with more, but yeah, so you could do it in about 4 hours a week. Something like one of my felting videos obviously takes as long. I think some of my 2D felting pictures, they took 6 or 7 days, but that's, my camera overheats after 20 minutes and I can turn it back on twice, I think, so I can do about 40 minutes recording and then I have to take a break. So just take the time with that. And the felting ones, unless I'm being super fancy, but most people don't seem to like super fancy, you just want to see it. So if I'm just putting all the clips together and speeding it up, to edit it and render it, that's to save the video file, that'll probably take about an hour to get it all together, so that's not too bad. Doing keyword research and everything, it's as much or as little as you like. I mean, if you super know your stuff and you know what you want to share, you can literally just turn the camera on and talk to the camera and you don't have to do a whole lot of editing. Or you can do how long does my live stream take? It takes as long as it takes. I make a thumbnail, I set it up, I know what I'm doing because I've done it a lot there, so that takes about 10 minutes. 10 minutes before I'm due to start, I set up all the lights, make sure the lights are working, I make sure the cameras are working. So yeah, so a 1.5 hour live stream, that's 2 hours out of my day maximum. But yeah, I'd love to see laser cutter things. I think it's really worth it. Especially if you're showing stuff that you're making anyway, it's a really cool thing. There was a YouTuber I watched doing things like that, but yeah, if you film your screen designing what you're going to do and then film the laser cutter, do a bit of a voiceover, yeah, you can do that in maybe a couple of hours more than it's taken you to do the thing already. Oh, Faith, gross warning. I've had a reverse needle removed by cutting the holder end and pulling the rest through. It healed fine. Yeah, I've had that myself. I didn't go in too far, but because a normal needle, a reverse needle is reverse, so when you try and pull it out, it's kind of going to be stuck. So yeah. Faith, so that's why you never air felt. And Steffi, how did you get the fibres back out? The makers love storybooks. Go to sleep with them. There's some really good ones on the BBC iPlayer too. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's some great things. And the BBC's given away a whole load of free stuff just now for anyone doing videos. I haven't looked into the policy on them, but the BBC have given away, there's a site where you can download blank sets from them, to use in like Zoom meetings and things for people who are stuck at home. So you've got like the Doctor Who set without any actors in it. There's, for anyone in the UK who remembers, like there's the Bread that was a sitcom, Steptoe and Son, all sorts of these backgrounds but without the people in it, so you could put them at the background of your Zoom meeting. So the BBC's doing that. It's great. I'm going off on random tangents. Oh, the Makers is 5 years. Cool, that's awesome. So happy birthday, Makers. Pamela, audiobooks and several repeatable movies that due to familiarity only need an ear, like Sense and Sensibility. Awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, I have to try audiobooks. They would be cool in the car when I'm doing a long journey. I will look into that. Right, how have I done? I don't think I've turned these ears enough yet, but we'll get there. So I'm just gonna felt in the edges a little bit, so it's because it is a little more rolled in the pictures, but we'll firm it up as we go as well. I was going to say something. I've distracted myself again. I keep doing that. That's the problem with live streams. I can felt no problem without looking at it, but I can't think. Thinking's a problem. And the Makers, yeah, ouchie ouch face with a little ambulance. That's so cute. Lisa, happy birthday, Makers. I can't wait to even celebrate a first. Hey, it'll come, definitely. Should totally celebrate birthdays for things, because I'm thinking I'm coming up 12 years needle felting. That's frightening. Yay. So that explains why I can kind of do this. Oh, here comes the sun. All right. Curtains, you stay there. Okay. Stick the ears on. We'll go for the stick the ears on point. They're big, but they are big anyway, and they will felt down a bit. It's so cute. Ears are great. Oh, thank you. You can sculpt them when they're on the phone. Absolutely, yes. I don't generally felt ears very firmly. I deal with that once they're on, but I know I would probably freak out people doing my level of sculpting on the phone. But yeah, it's going to get a little bit shorter because I'm felting it into the head. Oh, making a bit of a dent there because I'm not paying attention. Canvas needle felting sounds way too dangerous. You will have nerves of steel. In general, it's really not. It's just the odd thing. And these are, can you see on camera? These are super fine needles, really. It can be a bit of a shock, and in general they can bleed a bit because it's your fingertips, but it's not hugely dangerous. The thing to watch out for, the biggest danger is when you're just starting, or if you're a bit heavy-handed, you can break needles, and it's either finding where the tip of the needle pinged off to, or dissecting your piece to get the needle out of the middle of it. I did that. I had a super fussy client. They were being an absolute pain, and I managed to, I think I was probably angry felting, but it was a really big sculpture as well, and it was nearly done, and I snapped the needle in it, and I was like, I'm gonna have to go digging. And we had to do some fair cosmetic surgery in the head of my dog to get the needle out. That was so annoying. But yes, so safety tips for everyone. Safety tips for everyone new to needle felting. So you'll see I'm pushing the needle straight in and straight back out again. Never push the needle in, let's pretend, push the needle in and then twist the needle side to side, because they're super brittle. So you're always, the needle goes in and out and you move the piece around, or you move your hand, but so the needle's always going straight in and straight out. It takes a bit of practice. Erica, hi, Wi-Fi is bad. Is that my end? Am I not? Is it not a good stream today? Oh, it's not looking great apparently. I have my super new internet, but I forgot to take up the Wi-Fi password, so I'm still piggybacking other Wi-Fi. Lily Tree stopped counting how long I've been making jewellery. Absolutely, yeah, I can understand that. You've clearly been doing it for a while. I mean, but you're only 21, so you must have only been doing it for a minute or two. Well, oh, Lisa, 12 years explains why you're a pro. I'm certainly, well, okay, right. I'm a professional needle felter, I guess, because I sell. That in general, you can call yourself a because I learnt this from dog training. You thought if someone called themselves a professional dog professional dog trainer, it was because they had some kind of qualifications. But the only qualification to being a professional dog trainer is somebody's willing to give you money. So people are willing to give me money for this, so I'm a pro. But I'm certainly not. Oh, every year there comes new needle felters that have me jaws dropped in amazement. So yeah. Erica, you love the fawn. Oh, thank you. Well, it's not mine. It's the maker's fawn, and the kit, as usual, is working really well. Pamela, yeah, the fawn's head will get bigger with the addition of colour too. Yeah, they don't. Well, we'll see. This might be a different method than I thought, but they don't tend to get much bigger when I'm doing them. But this ear's still very floppy, so I would be felting in it a whole lot more. Canvas and chroma. You could have just left the needle in there as revenge. I won't lie, I did think about it, but yeah, that's super unprofessional. I can just, yeah, that would be a review that I don't want living on my shop. Pamela, fawns do grow into their ears. Absolutely. Yes, quite right. Baby animals have supersized eyes and ears and paws. Especially German Shepherd puppies are the cutest for the eyes, the ears and the paws. Erica, no, your Wi-Fi is rubbish. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope it works better. I'm hoping that my Wi-Fi is okay now. We'll have to find out. Well, my internet. Third time an engineer visited, and I got a new router that looks like the Eye of Sauron or something. It's this big thing, and it's got a big blue circle on it, just like what your webcam looks like when it's on. So I keep like looking in the corner going, something's watching me. That's not good. Right, shall we slowly move on to the next stage? And oh my goodness, it kind of looks like a strange deformed mouse. I know they go through these stages, and I know I need to felt this some more. Okay, I need to take a pinch of black, lay it onto the front of the face. Gotcha, we're making his wee nose into a kind of triangle-y shape. But making it a kind of triangle, but with the base at the bottom of the triangle flat. I've probably put too much wool on, but we're going for crazy. We're going for oversized cuteness. Trying to read the next section, and no, I better pay attention and felt his nose on. And I know, because I'm going to be adding colours, I will be able to hide some of this if I've gone too crazy. The makers will tell me, like, Pam, that's great, rein it in a bit, that's gone mad. Okay, so the next stage, colouring in. The brown tops, yellow bats, black bats, the natural whites. So we're going to do mixing with carders, but I forgot to bring my carders up the stairs. But if you haven't seen it, the makers do have a free tutorial on mixing wools. I also have a video on this channel on hand carding with dog brushes. Dog slicker brushes are pretty much hand carders, so don't spend all the money on getting expensive ones. Get a big dog slicker brush, it's the same thing. Start by mixing brown tops with a tiny amount of yellow. That's yellow, yeah. Okay, so we're just going to do this by hand, and I don't need too much. So, brown tops with a tiny amount of yellow. The yellow will act to brighten up the brown and make it golden, so you only need to use very little. Right. It's much harder to blend things by hand, but you totally can do it. And all I'm doing is gently pulling from the sides. I'm just pulling so the wool slides over each other. And I'm just going to go the sidey ways to fluff it up as well. And so it's going to be more chunky, different colours doing it this way. It's much easier with carders. I would be done in like a minute with hand carders, but I'm an idiot and I had right ahead. I knew I had to do this, but I forgot to fetch my carders. Then I'm just going to keep pulling this in the same direction again to get it almost back to nice tops, but not quite. There we go. There'll be little bits of yellow peeking, but overall that's okay. So we're gonna lay the wool down. So I've made it back into tops almost. Colour the face. Yes. So we're going over his face with this stuff that I've made. Yeah, cover the whole of the head with this stuff that we've just mixed. I hope I mixed enough because I'm not reading ahead. Oh, we're getting the terrible deer jokes. I can see that. What do you call a deer with no ideas? With no eyes, no idea. See, I'm even messed up the jokes because I'm trying to pay attention to this. Little extra bit of yellow I don't want. How do you see a deer behind you? With hindsight. Ah. I need a bit more of this. I'm not going to blend a bit for under his chin because you won't see it. The makers, yeah, they have big ears, big eyes and big noses. Anyone would think that makes them look ugly, but no, it makes them look cute. Yeah, it makes baby things look cute and it makes adult things look ugly. Lily Tree saying, what do you call a deer with no ears? Anything you like, he can't hear you. Oh, you ladies. Dad joke time. We're very fond of the deer jokes. Oh boy. Okay, I'm supposed to be keeping the indent of the eye as I'm doing this. Well, I just want to get this felted on and get the ears a little bit more sorted as I go. If the white from the core is showing through, it helps to keep a light covering. You might find yourself changing needles. Gotcha. Faith, the jokes keep us going. I love the fawn, it's so endearing. Oh boy, who's googling bad deer jokes? Take a small strand of the cream. I've cleaned it. Oh, that looks creamy. Or is it? Ooh. Oh no, it's this, isn't it? Take a small strand of the cream. Oh no, it's the core. It's this. And felt a round lip onto the base of the nose. Ah, okay. So making a round lip. Needs to be a little bit bigger. Okay. See, learn something every time. The deer's getting a lip. That is laughing so cute. There we go. Right. And cover the lip with a little, mainly white and a little brown. So mainly white, a little brown. Felt down so it blends into the rest of the face. Cute. I've fallen in love with my fawn more. So lovely to see them come to life. I know it's when you've worked hard on a tutorial and stuff and you've made it. I know it's lovely to see how other people get along with it. I was totally blown away in my group, Pam Duthie's Crafty Friends. Someone had followed my dragon tutorial, and I was just blown away, sort of how really cool the dragon was, but also how like my dragon it was, because I know you ladies are very sensible and do good tutorials that you've actually researched. You don't just sit in front of the camera and wing it, which I was kind of doing with my dragon. So I was super impressed that it comes out so well when other people follow along. That is so cute. Pamela, totally busted re-Google. Yep, gotcha. He was searching deer jokes. Or dad deer jokes. Because they're dad jokes. Oh, cool. Right, a tiny amount of this onto the front right of the nose, and that makes a little highlight. I love that. I love doing little highlights and things. I don't do that often enough. I've forever wanted to do like one of the beautiful black horses and put some of the sheen onto their coat, but I'm not sure how well it'll work in a sort of 3D piece, but I want to do it. Right, so a little highlight. Love it. Use a pinch of black and lay it onto the indentation of one of the eyes. Yeah, we're going to go back and sort out the indentation of the eyes. I think that side's indented. Okay, fawns have huge eyes, I'm being told, so that's cool to know. Because they're going to be, everything's going to be oversized here, isn't it? Okay, so huge eyes. So they're still looking like a mouse. And that's entirely my fault, it's not the kid's fault. It's looking like a bizarre mouse. It will come together, I know it will. Okay, giant eyes. So it's not going to be a no idea anymore. It's going to be an eyed deer. Is that even? I'm so bad at making eyes even. Canvas and chroma. Personally, I spend a lot of time looking up clock jokes. I used to work in a calendar factory. That's where I met my date. Oh. But it didn't last together. Our days were numbered. Oh no. I'm just sorting out my camera here. Lily Tree. Oh, you're supposed to just turn on the camera and wing it. I know you work loads on your tutorials. Your tutorials are awesome. Everyone needs to check out Lily Tree and her wire wrapped jewelry tutorials. Well worth a look. And yeah, different ways of doing things. Different types of videos take different amounts of time. The more work you put into a tutorial, like filming you making the thing and then figuring out what your script's going to be and putting together a script and, you know, a voiceover if needed, a talk to camera bits, putting in your making the thing, they all take a lot more work. If you just stick on your camera and wing it, that doesn't take so much work, but it isn't depending on your personality, some people can just sit and talk to camera and they make super interesting videos because they have that kind of personality, and some of us have to plan out a bit more, and yeah, it depends how much time. YouTube videos can take as long as you want them to, really. I'm sure there's plenty of people who like are doing it in like 5 minutes, and others days and days. I mean, so I see posts on the YouTube groups all the time, and people talk about 10-20 hours editing. I'm maybe about 2 hours editing if I'm doing a real good one. If you haven't checked, if you could all check when we're done here, my latest video on video ideas for your product, for your Etsy shop, but for anything you're selling, I spent more time editing that, so if you could give it a watch. But hopefully it's kind of cool as well. Loads of great ideas for videos, and I got lots of B-roll to figure out, to be able to show you what I meant rather than just explaining it. So yeah, for those of you who haven't seen it, if you want to go and watch that video, I would appreciate it, because I spent much longer editing it, basically. Canvas and chroma, yeah, the switch on the camera and just wing it's like 95% of all YouTube videos. It depends what you watch. I see a lot of super edited videos. The thing, once you start going down the rabbit hole, people get really into editing, and it can be just a how to do a craft video. I've shared before on my channel the channel Evan and Caitlin. They do sort of crafty kind of DIY kind of things, and sometimes they just throw in the most daft video editing things that are hilarious. There was one, he was doing some woodwork and they'd time-lapsed that, they'd speeded it up, and she obviously on a green screen, but she was at the side talking to camera while he was working away super quick, and you just saw him in fast motion and her talking, and she just finished her talk. She finished her talk to camera as he finished what he was doing, and he reached over and gave her the piece, and I was just like, how did they do that? That is the coolest piece of video editing that was complete. It probably took forever. It was absolutely not needed to show you how to do a bit of woodworking, but yeah, so some of them is definitely not just to talk to camera. Pamela is winging it, oh excuse me, is winging it the same as flying by the seat of your pants. Pretty much exactly the same thing, yes. And yes, Lily Tree's channel, if you want to get to it, totally just click on the 3 dots beside her name. Go over there when you're done with me. Her stuff's great too. Oh, Pamela, thank you. My Etsy tip videos are great. Thank you so much. I will be making some more. I've got a little bit more inspired and some interesting new projects coming up in the work that I'm not allowed to talk about. I would say I hate teasing you all, but I love teasing you all. There's some exciting things that I think you guys are going to really love, but might be a wee while yet, but certainly yous will be some of the first to know, I promise you. Right, where did I get to here? We've got the eyes on. Then take some of the light mix you used for the bottom lip. Ooh, still have some left. And make an eyelid, laying the wool loosely above the eye. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. I think. We'll see. We'll see how well it works. Trying to get these even with what I've got left so I don't have to blend some more. That's too much. Okay, so we're making an eyelid of the lighter stuff. I've got to focus because I'm under firm instructions here not to reduce the size of the eye while I'm making the eyelid. I'm going to try and not. I'm just felting it up just where the black finishes. Oh, I'm tempted to make in the diagram it felts down to quite a small eyelid. I'm tempted to leave it bigger because everything else is being supersized on my poor little fawn. His nose is too big and his ears are giant. So, and real baby animals have that kind of sleepy eyelidy look. Let's be naughty, the makers will never know. No, anything, when you're making the things, making it your own is what needle felting's about. So I'm going off piste again. It's a different size from what it should be, and it's going to have bigger eyelids than what it's supposed to. I know the ladies won't mind. Okay, I'm going to get back to the chat in a minute. I actually have to concentrate on doing this bit. So you see, sometimes I can't look away. Sometimes I have to look and felt at the same time on delicate fiddly bits like trying to get eyelids. Okay, I didn't use enough. So yeah, it goes quiet. Pam's concentrating, everybody. There we go, big sized eyelids, and I think I'm going to have to do bottom eyelids looking at the picture, but we'll get to that in a minute. And right, another thing when you're doing stuff, if you see something when you're looking at it, even if it's not quite right, but if you see something that starts to look cute, when I'm looking at this, his nose kind of has a little bit more of an uppy turn, so I'm just going to felt a little bit more in there to emphasize what I just saw that looks a bit cute. So yeah, if it starts going a way that you like, encourage it. Help it out going in that direction. And the same with the eyelids. As I was putting it on, I was just like, hey, that being a bit bigger is a bit cuter, so I'm gonna run with that. I think my head isn't quite as round as it could be, but I'm running out of head space now. But there we go. Use the brown tops to add a little line in. Oh, tear duct! Yay! Is this the right? Am I supposed to have a different brown that I've put down somewhere? No, I think I'm right here. So a little tear duct in front of the eye. Guys, the detail here, this is so cool. So a little tear duct in front of the eye. Again, going quiet. Pam's concentrating. Shush, everybody. No, you guys chat amongst yourselves. This is great content where I just sit in silence and concentrate on stuff. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but yeah, that does make a difference. I'm sure I'm supposed to have a darker brown somewhere that I've put down and lost in the week because it's been a busy week and I forget stuff. So there we go. He has a tear duct. Make a lower eyelid. Yep, I thought I needed some more of this lighter colour, so a lot of white, a little bit of brown. Lower eyelid, I think I'll do what I'm told and make that smaller. And yes, we're going to put the highlight reflection in the eye. Yeah, totally. If you're making eyes, got to put the highlight reflection in them always. That just brings them to life. Okay, a little bit. Lower eyelid. I won't go quite so crazy with that. Possibly won't. Maybe won't. Not sure. We'll see what happens. We'll make the lower one a little bit smaller. Like what we're actually told to do. Follow the rules and all that. Okay. Lisa's saying, I think this side's my favourite side. There's always a side that's a favourite. You always have a favourite child, don't you, Mum? Don't laugh at your own jokes, Pam. Although I like edited videos, I still prefer to see some bloopers. Yeah, that's a good point. It's cool to put in the mistakes sometimes. I really should. There's so much on the cutting room floor where I was filming a voiceover for something that hopefully you'll see in the next week or two. But on the script there was the word thesaurus and then synonym in the same sentence. And I got through them and I couldn't manage to say the word actually after that. So many times I had to re-record that bit of video. And I said synonym and thesaurus absolutely perfectly, and I couldn't say the basic word. It makes me feel we're all human and it's fine to get things wrong. Yep, you certainly get to see me making things wrong plenty of times. And yeah, I think it helps people and it helps differentiate. I've just got a little bit of the white on his neck. That's kind of cute, but no, we will cover it. It helps differentiate YouTube from telly. This is not television. I'm not a presenter that has a production team and a lights guy and an editing guy and someone doing a script. It's all me, so it's gonna have little messes for sure. So yeah, to see that isn't a bad thing. You're right. I agree. Canvas and Chroma. There's a guy who does amazing woodworking stuff, but I can't watch his videos because he uses this scary looking puppet thing to talk to the camera and it freaks me out. I've not seen that, but yeah, I know what you mean. Some people don't want to put their face on camera, so they do all kinds of things, or they're not comfortable just talking to the camera, which is weird. I completely agree. It's difficult, so they'll use props like a little puppet, but yeah, it can be freaky. And some people put really obnoxious music very loudly in the background and you click off. Yeah, it's so difficult because when I've been trying to make videos and I take advice from video editing people and they say put music in, do this, and every single time I put music in my videos people go, it's a great tutorial, hate the music, get rid of the music. And well, I can't, it's too late now. I just did what people had told me, but they don't like the music. So yeah, no music most of the time. Although sometimes people love the music. What can you do? Lily Trees. Oh dear. Okay, where have we got to go to next? Oh, little bit of white in the highlights. So I'm going to take two little pinches of white. And because you can't see both sides of the head at the one time, I'm going to not make it realistic at all, but I always like to have the light, the little pinch of light coming just in here, which would be pretty much impossible for it being on both eyes because he's got his ears in the way. So it can't be behind him, so it would have to be to the side, which wouldn't give light there, but he's in a studio, there's light coming from loads of angles. I just like the light there. So that's what we're doing. Canvas and Chroma. There are folks trying to be funny, clever, and they aren't. I just want you to get to the point of the tutorial. Please and thank you. Yes. That's a difficult line to balance because it is tricky talking to a camera that gives you zero feedback. Even a live stream, I can say a joke. I won't say anything I do's jokes. You guys' jokes are better than mine. But I could say a joke, and the lag means there's like a good few seconds after I say something before I get any kind of feedback on it. So you're kind of like, did I do a funny? Should I do more funny? Should I do less funny? It's difficult, but I know. One of the things that I hate so much, and I understand why people do it, but you go on a tutorial and you're wanting to learn something and you've got 2 minutes at the start with a person going, hi, how you doing? I've got to apologise, I've got a zit growing on my face and my hair's a mess, and you're like, I don't care, show me the thing. And yeah, people go off. I don't know why I did that like totally fake voice. But anyway, the maker's saying, love it when people go off piste. Yay! I knew you wouldn't mind. I think his big eyelids are working. I still like this side better than that side. I think that one's getting a bit smaller. Literally, when I said, it says here, don't let the eyes go small, and I let the eyes go small. Bexy Boo, hello there, how are you? I'm good, thank you very much. Canvas and Chroma found the Bob Ross of needle felting. A happy little fawn. I just need a giant perm afro. I'm still thinking about it. I don't know if it'll work, but I'm still thinking of trying to follow along with the Bob Ross tutorial with needle felting. Don't know if it'll work, but I've seen people do all sorts. I've seen people do following along with a Bob Ross tutorial with cake frosting, and it comes out amazing. So yeah. Right, where have we got to? Ooh, optional eyelashes. We won't do the eyelashes. I get what they're doing. That's like a line just sort of in between, just kind of in here. But with the big eyelids, the eyelashes aren't quite going to work, and I'm doing the smaller shape. Make the second eye to match the first, yes. It doesn't quite match, but we'll pretend. Use a very light brown mix, white, brown and yellow, to do the chest. Okay, brown, a little bit of brown, good bit of white, little pinch of yellow. Let's make a new... See, I should have waited till now to read the comments, because I can... Nobody's scared by me blending wool and talking. That's not like danger felting. I can do this and not pay attention. Bexy's asking, is that Craftsman reminds you of Bob Ross? He's soothing. Oh, I have to look for him. I do like woodworky people. The candle link. Hello everyone. Hello there. Pamela, they do make rainbow coloured Bob Ross wigs, just saying. And I can make my own Bob Ross wig using mine or the makers. We both have a making curls tutorial. I actually did, I think it was last year, I did a needle felted poodle tutorial, and I did the making the curls tutorial as a companion for that. And when I made a big pile of, let's fluff it sideways, then we'll go back to straight again. When I did a massive pile of curls, I stacked them up on Mia's head and made her into a poodle. She wasn't impressed. She did look adorable though. Faith, it's so dinky. I love it. Thank you so much. I think being human is the right way to go with YouTube. Too much editing can take that part out, and it's a shame. Yeah, it's a fine balance. Like I say, the thing is, I'm in I'm in some YouTube groups because obviously it's something I'm trying to do and trying to learn about, and a lot of them are all super into the tech and super into learning and editing and everything, and you're always told, oh, don't go 15 seconds without cutting to a different angle and doing this, that and the other thing. And I have to rein myself in. I really want to do those kind of slick things, and then I think I don't like to watch them. So yeah, if I don't like to watch it, then why should I make it? Why should I expect you guys to like watching my jump cuts and fast-paced stuff and everything? So yeah, I don't. Right, there we go. He has a lighter coloured chest. Oh, we're going to make his tail. In real life, fawns have quite large tails. Yeah, fawns have deer have ridiculously big white flappy tails that the dogs just love to chase. Why is that? Why do they have such big tails? Find the lanolin core and a strand of brown, white and yellow. Brown, white and yellow. I didn't blend up much. Oh, gonna need more than that. And lay them on top of each other. Okay, so we're just putting it together like that. Give it a few stabs before sticking it on him, but keep it shaggy. I think I get you. We want a fluffy tail. I don't see the tail in the picture, but we want a fairly fluffy tail. And then attach tail. There's a fluffy tail. Have I missed chat? Come on, computer. Oh, computer's going slow. Ellie says, same for me as we watch you. I want to laugh and comment, then the moment passes and I feel silly commenting. Oh no, not at all. Yeah, no, the chat's great, even though it keeps me on my toes when I have to go back and say and think to myself, what was I actually talking about when that happened? But it's nice, it helps me. And you're not silly commenting. The candle link looking good, thank you so much. Faith, I think as a viewer I watch one for a tutorial, but I watch and subscribe if I enjoy the personality and genuineness. Big words. Sorry, I'm not good when you're trying to read and speak out loud. It's like being back at school. And the genuineness of the tutor, after all, the public vote with their feet in the end. Absolutely, yeah. And that's especially once YouTube started letting us do live streams. That's a totally different kettle of fish. And I was so worried about doing live streams to start with, just thinking, oh, you've got to be all perfect, everything's got to be great, it can't go wrong. And then I realised the ones that I watched, it was my YouTube guru. I talk about him often. Brian G. Johnson is my YouTube guru, and he started doing some live streams, and I was really scared about doing it because I've got dogs. Well, I have a dog. I had dogs before. And he had 2 poodles, and sometimes in his live streams the poodles have started barking. One of his dogs peed on the carpet in a live stream and it just, his mistake, he probably was mortified that this happened in a live stream. However, it made life so much better for me, because I was like, well, if he can do this and it doesn't have to be perfect, then if my dogs bark, you guys are going to understand. You know, if something goes wrong, if my whatever I'm felting looks terrible, you're going to understand. These things happen. It's live. But thankfully the maker's tutorials do seem to work, and this is looking deer-like, fawn-like. Right, let's figure out the next stage and then I'll do some more chat. Cover the top of the fawn, starting at the bottom with brown and white mix. So mainly brown, a little bit of white. So yes, carders would have been such a good idea, wouldn't they, Pam? So blend some of this up and then we're going to cover him from the back, hip, thigh, shoulder, over the leg, working in the direction the fur grows. I think I've got you. Chat. Erica, are all the colours in the box? Absolutely, yes. Everything I'm using here, apart from the needles. But in your first, if you get a subscription box, I believe you get all the tools in the first box, but you don't get them every month because you don't need them every month. But all the colours are completely in the box. Right, I'm going to blend up some more while I'm talking. Oh, that's a bad blend, Pam. Bad blend. But yeah, so you get everything, and well, yes, this was a subscription box, but makers just told me that they now have this as a standalone box that you can buy. So yes, all the colours are in there. Makers, you can't plank what comes out of your mouth or pops into your head. Absolutely. When you're doing live streams, you're just in the moment, thinking on your feet and don't try and take yourself too seriously. Laughs on you're okay. Yeah, I know the feeling. You just have to go with the flow, and that's what's cool about it. It's live, and I think I really enjoy getting to know some of my YouTube people that I follow. In an edited video, you can cut out the silly bits, the things that go a bit wrong and stuff. But in a live, I think people can't hide if they're not so nice people or something, you know. I mean, yeah, of course, it's a little bit fake. Like, if I was sitting in a room doing this, and however many of you are here just now were sitting in front of me, I probably would not be talking this much. I would let the rest of you get a word in edgeways. But it's different, obviously, so I have to chat more because, you know, it's my stream, so I've got to do this stuff. But hopefully I'm mainly me. a little bit more manic because I've had too much coffee, but mainly me. Alright, let's start covering this. I was going to call him a puppy. Let's cover this puppy. Let's start getting him covered up. Lily Tree, make a needle felt Bob Ross. I've been wanting to do, actually I should do some more people. I did spend a bit of time figuring out heads, figuring out how to do faces, and Bob Ross has such an iconic silhouette with his hair and everything that I think he might be easy to do, because I don't have to get, sort of the shape of his face doesn't have to be perfect, I think. So yeah, that's a cool idea. Making a Bob Ross, and then I could needle felt a tiny little Bob Ross painting for him to have painted. But let's totally make it more difficult on myself. Pamela, you're quite right, yes. Steffi's charming for all that, just winging it and everything. She is indeed. And, well, I say in real life. I've not met you in real life, but we've talked online, and she's just like that in real life, in online real life as well. Oh, Canvas. I think if Bob Ross were alive long enough to see the internet and YouTube and the state of things, he would just retreat to Alaska and give up on humanity. Oh, well, yes, some of it's bad, but there's some very lovely things out there as well. And I think he did seem such a positive ray of light. I think he would have found the positive and, and stuck with that, because he did seem a pretty cool guy. And yeah, I love his little happy accidents and everything. Bexy, I often find I don't enjoy some of the high energy US content. It's like more laid back style that I can easily listen to while doing other stuff. Yes, I think that is another good point for anyone who's thinking about doing videos. I think the countries are very different. In the UK, our TV style is more different. And this is not to have a go at anyone. You get used to what you're used to. But whenever I've seen a lot of US people, almost, the energy feels like children's TV, if that makes sense to you guys. It's not a bad thing, it's not a good thing, it's just a thing, it's how they are, and it's just a bit different. Whereas in the UK we do tend to, we don't tend to have that kind of high energy unless it's something like Ant and Dec. But yeah, our TV style's different, and also for about the age groups that you're aiming for. I mean, I'm aware, and I'm quite happy that I'm not 20-something, and most of the people following me are not going to be 20-something. So you don't want to watch that kind of video that would appeal to someone who's, you know, just out of their teens or something. It's very different, and that's fair enough. We are all different. Faith, you love live streams because it truly allows you to actually meet the person you're learning from. Laughs and all. Oh, kisses both Pam and Steffi. You've made me a total fan. Oh, thank you so much. But yes, and I know what you mean. Live streams made YouTube completely different than what it was, and made it much more of a community. And it's great fun to be able to do this kind of thing and talk to people and interact with them in real time, and then you guys can tell me like, no Pam, absolutely hate it when you do that, or yeah, that's kind of cool. So yeah, it's nice to get real time feedback. Canvas and Chrome is demanding a needle felted Bob Ross as well. You guys don't ask for much, do you? I make animals, but no, I can actually kind of see it, and it does sound kind of cute. Face, sorry for the big words, it's my teacher self busting through. Oh, no problem at all. I can usually do big words, but the more you go on talking, just randomly talking at the camera, words become difficult. Gwen, cute, I made a potion bottle this morning. Awesome, cool. Susan, you're doing a great job. How do you decide where to put the highlight on the nose? Right, well, it's in the kit. They told me where. But what you would generally do, basically, if we ignore this eye, this side of the face doesn't exist, but where I've chose to put the light source coming onto his eye, if we imagine where that's coming down, it would also hit his nose about there. So that's what you can think about when going for a light source. If it truly was like this, there would be no light really showing up on that eye at all, probably, or reflected light, or yeah, all sorts of crazy art things. But yes, of what I try and think about, I usually practice drawing in 2D, practice drawing and putting the light source in, and when you're doing it, literally just think, where is this light coming in? Where is it going to bounce off? And that gives you an idea of what it would show in the real thing. Or you could get actual real life things. I have my mouse here, so I've got, right, we're going to do something we shouldn't do. That's one light off. So I've only got one light that's over here, and you can see the light's coming in and it's bouncing off here, and we've got a little bit coming in here, but there's less light down this side. So we would put a highlight here and a highlight here. So it's just observing what you see in real life, basically. I'm just gonna, yeah, I think I've just got to get up to the shoulders. Yeah, I'm kind of there with the covering this nearly. So I'll just get on, cover this a wee bit. We've got little flashes of yellow, but doesn't matter. So I'll cover this, and then we'll get on to the next bit. Gwen, that deer is adorable. Thank you so much. It's the maker's kit that did it. I could make a deer if I sat down and I really thought about it and I took my time. I'm not sure how well I could do one doing it live like this without these directions. It makes a big difference. Absolutely. But yeah, it's coming together. And I say this every time, I love these kind of kits because I always learn different techniques, different ways of doing things to what I would have done if I was doing it myself. This isn't how I would have made a deer, so I love that this is different. Random flashes of yellow, but it's cool, it's all good. Steffi, I think I'd have to be myself, especially as one cannot please everybody. Yep. So you might as well enjoy yourself. And thank you to Faith. Absolutely. No, well, that's it. If you try and be something fake in the hopes of getting views, in the hopes of pulling in an audience, it's not going to work. But and you're not going to please everybody. But you yourself is good enough. Everybody. You know, if you're a person that has friends, you have a personality that people like. So on the internet, enough people are going to like you. I mean, clearly, yeah, I'm going to annoy some people. Some people don't like me. some people don't like the way I say eatsy. You know, you do things that annoy people, but in general, be yourself. It's far easier than trying to be something different. I can't believe we've been, like, it's 20 to 6. We've been going all this time. I can't believe it. It's actually really genuinely flown in today. So thank you guys. Yeah, Gwen, you made a needle felted potion bottle. Cool. Lisa, as we're talking about Bobs, as another Bob said, you can't please all the people all of the time. It's very true. And Lily True, yep, you decided a while back you'd fail miserably trying to be anybody but yourself. Yourself is definitely good enough, Lily. Yeah, don't try and be anything else. And that's because we are our own target markets. You know, we are all probably, we're women who love crafting, and the men as well, but you know, we're people who love crafting, so that's going to be, we're probably a little slower way of life, because we have to sit back and there's no way you can rush crafting really. So yeah, it makes sense that we want less fast paced and more actually showing us how to do it. Okay, let's get on with this a bit. So that does need felted some more, but actually it looks kind of cute and fluffy. Colour the hooves in black by making a clean line. Okay. Where did I put the rest of my black? I've got small black here. Okay, so I'm gonna make 4 hooves. Oh right, I get it now. I wasn't getting it. Yeah, we're not making a hoof. We're making a clean, solid line. Yeah, gotcha. So we want to try and make this a nice, neat line to make a hoof. And felty. Felty is the technical term. Before anyone asks, it's absolutely the technical term. Gwen, you're actually going to make a dragon. Awesome! I have to see it. If you guys didn't know, I love dragons. People may think they don't exist, but dragons are awesome. CJ Phoenix, Pam has an awesome dragon tutorial. Thank you so much. I super enjoyed making the dragon. That was an epic. It's like in 6 or 7 parts. It's in many parts, but I'm super happy with how well it came out. Especially if any of you haven't already checked it out, just search Pam Duthie Needle Felting Dragon. I am so happy with the armature because I'm not good at armatures, but I managed to do an armature for the dragon that was fiddly as anything, but it really worked to be able to get the wings to move and the paws and everything. I was super happy with how the armature went. A canvas and chroma. Are you teasing my Eatsy? Eatsy. I know, still can't do it. But Etsy. See, it sounds like you're just coughing up something. Eatsy's much nicer. So here's my thinking. To say Etsy, you have to kind of cough up a bit. I don't like that. You can't say Eatsy without smiling. So there's my branding for them. Eatsy is much nicer. You can't Eatsy. No, see, have to smile. Eatsy. So it's better for the branding. It should be called Eatsy. Oh, cool. The makers have a tutorial on dragons on YouTube too. He's more of a Puff the Magic Dragon type. Awesome. That sounds so much fun. And I am totally going to do another dragon. I'm trying to think of how it would work in a live stream if I did following And in following a YouTube tutorial on a live stream, could I do that? I'm not sure. Or I might just do it as a regular video. But as I said, Nerdy Crafter did awesome dragon tutorial for polymer clay, and I watched it and I went, we have to just felt that. we have to needle felt using her method as something totally different, because I really like using different mediums, methods of creating things, of doing our felted, using different types of tutorials, because it gives different ways of doing it. I just think it's fun. Canvas and chroma, we are all our own worst enemy. Yeah, I totally understand that. Gwen, you're just learning. We're all just learning. Absolutely. And needle felting is such a new craft still. I mean, it only was invented in the 80s, I think. So there's no one can tell you you're doing it right or no, that's clearly wrong. I know, I'll fold his legs back over. But yeah, there's no right or wrong to needle felting. Add in the unmixed brown tops by... Oh yeah, I like this method. Yeah, I can see what you did there. So we're going to sort of start backwards. Can we see this? I'm going to start backwards to get the wispy tops in. So felt a nice neat line. I think this is what you meant, or I'm inventing something, but it looks the same. So felt a nice line, and then fold it backwards. How cool is that? How neat is that? Yay, why don't I do stuff like this normally? Yeah, that is so cool. I do need to felt it a bit neater, but for just now, I just felt that all up in there, because I want to get on to adding his spots and things. But yeah, that is super cool way to do it. And I see in the picture his hoof is kind of folded down a little bit. They're probably going to tell me to do this later. But yeah, that's cool. Right, I'm going to felt that in just quickly, not how I would do it if I had more time. Lily Trey, you say eatsy and I say potato, or something like that. Yes, exactly. It doesn't matter, it's a made up word anyway. Granted, it's Etsy's made up word, it's their company, but it's a made up word. Right, nope, doing that wrong, and yes, that way. I just go, this is a cool method, and then I do it completely wrong immediately. Faith, you've been wanting to make Falcor, that's Never Ending Story, isn't it? For ages, and I haven't started as I don't want to get it wrong. There's no wrong. You just do what you've got to do. In fact, if you watch my dragon tutorial, because unlike most people who have planning and stuff, most people do a tutorial by practicing it and then getting it nailed down and then showing you how to do it. I do a tutorial by just making it. So I think there was points in my dragon where he was awful and I had to rethink things and I had to try different stuff. So same with Falcor, you're not going to get it wrong. If something doesn't look right, you can fix it or you can cut it off and do something else. So you're not going to get him wrong, promise you. That's how it works. It can't be wrong, because it's always, needle felting's always fixable. It's the same, if I decided these ears were way too big, I could literally just cut them, make them littler, and then felt them together. That's the joy, you're never wrong. CJ, your first dragon came out looking like a gorilla with wings. Awesome, a buff dragon, sounds good to me. But I don't see that as a bad thing. A gorilla with wings sounds cool. I'm trying to think what you would call that, because you've got like all sorts of names for horses with different mythologicaliness, but I don't know what we would call gorilla with wings. You see how last minute these things suddenly really just come together. Right, front legs. Get some pinches for that. Ooh. And then I think we've just got spots to do, and we're nearly there. Wow, so cool. I love it, the last little bits when they're coming together. Bexy loves dragons too. It's what I used to draw back when I was in school, like every day on my books, and collected myth and magic I have a ton of myth and magic dragons downstairs. I still love them. Still got them. I'll have to show you them all sometimes. Yes, I still have them. I love them. Faith, your first dragon made through a Maker's live stream. Awesome. Has gone through so many different looks. I couldn't finish him till I was inspired by a photo. Yeah, well, sometimes things when we're making, they're just not going the right way, so they can go into the to be finished later box. That's how I started. I think everybody has phases of that. Now I'm just, because it's been more of a business, I don't have the luxury of doing that, so I just sort of have to bloody mindedly force on through the ugliness until something decent comes out of it again. I think they're saying, yes, the makers are saying I don't need to colour the underside, and the front legs seem to tuck in more than the back. They tuck in more under. There's the words. He's looking quite buff just now, so we'll tuck those legs under, and then you'll be fine. Yes, so they'll go under like that. That's cool. Erica, did you make a teardrop? I'm not sure what you mean there. Is that for me? Not sure. Lily Tree, fawns do have difficulty standing for a while. You're so right. In fact, right. I am going to cheat because this leg is so tucked under. Oh no, you can see it on that side. Typical. I try and take a shortcut and the wool doesn't let me. That's just my luck, isn't it? Oh, Lisa, it's turned out beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank the makers so much as well. Really good tutorial. It is coming together so well. I will, as ever, spend a bit of time smoothing this out afterwards, and I'll take some decent pictures of it as well. But yeah, so far so good. I think we just have the spots to add, and that's pretty much him, my rabbit fawn. Bunny fawn. Well, bunny, no, it was a mouse I said, didn't I? Yeah, mouse fawn. Right, get that covered, get them legs tucked in. And yeah, last minute it starts to actually look like what it's supposed to look like. Just got to define the legs a little bit because it looks like it's got no legs. That's my bad for rushing. Cover them. But yeah, it's a fawn. So add spots onto the back and top of the legs, either in white. Okay, cool. Oh, you're tipping me, man. I'll have to work on his shape. So we're just, and for the spots, I am not thinking about it at all. I'm just taking a pinch and letting it go where it will. It looks like, yeah, they're just over the back of the legs and the back. They don't go too far up. And then pretty much we're done. I'm just gonna, as I say, firm him up off camera, but I think this has been a really cool full tutorial. So yeah, if anyone has done this, first of all, obviously put up your fawns in the makers group because it's them that created this tutorial. But if you want to stick them in Pam Duthie's crafty friends, I would love to see what you've made as well, because I love to see your work too. Right. It just makes it with the little spots, doesn't it? Right. So all that has to happen is I just need to firm this up a little bit and make him actually be able to sit up. Sort out the position of his head, and then he's done. Oh, Canvas, Canvas, I totally see what you put in the message, but I don't think I can show it on the channel. But it's hilarious. Sorry, guys. Yeah. Can I get a portal to an alternate timeline? Yeah, I totally know what you mean. Yeah. That is very weird. I can't show it on the channel, but it's very weird. Sorry, guys. Oh. Okay, I don't even know if I can click on that properly. Anyway, so can I get a show of hands? Anyway, I should have asked at the start. I know some of you have. Who's made a fawn? Who's gonna make a fawn? Let me know if you've made a fawn. I'm gonna have to calm those ears down. Little guy, that's an embarrassment. But apart from that, I love the head. I love how easy the body was. I'm just gonna make his front legs look a bit better. Yeah, it just needs a little bit more of focused me time rather than distracted me time. But yeah, this is him so far. Let's go into this so you can get a proper look. He is actually really quite cute. Guys, thank you so much for the tutorial, and thank you to everyone for joining me. As I say, I will just smooth him out, make him look like he's supposed to, and give him his photo shoot, and then you'll see it in the groups. Pam Duthie's Crafty Friends, or what's the makers one? Everyone's a maker? I can't remember now. But yes, just look for the makers on Facebook and you'll find their group, and share your phone there as well so they can see, because it's their kit that they've made and it's pretty awesome. But yeah, guys, I think that'll do. Thank you so much for hanging around with me. We've done like 2 hours hanging out and felting, which is awesome. I thought it was only an hour. So have a great day. Bye from my mouse phone. I'm going to sort out those ears. But otherwise, he is cute though. Right. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time.